right, Sara Nelson is the International President of the Association of Flight Attendants. Sara, good to see you.
Good to see you.
So how comforting might this be to you to hear that there might be this contact tracing app that airlines would want to use to see, what the condition of these passengers are and what is being brought to any of these planes?
Well, let's be really clear. We heard a December 1st deadline on that. We have had no action on a federal plan to address the issues of coronavirus and how to have a plan in aviation to ensure that we're stopping the spread. The airlines have taken it upon themselves to put mask policies in place and to require this of passengers in the airport and on the planes. That is a huge step forward. We need a federal mandate on that, though, and we need a federal coordinated effort here to put in place all kinds of policies that will help to contain coronavirus. So contact tracing is incredibly important, but there's a lot of other steps to put in place here to make it effective.
For example, you mean like the wearing of masks, some airlines requiring passengers to do so. How about some airlines who say they're going to fill up every seat they can? Is it that you would rather hear that there, are empty seats? What would be some of the measures that you think would be part of a national plan as it pertains to air travel?
Well, let's be really clear. There's no way to properly socially distance on a plane. So we have to have policies in place that are safety related, just like we do in any other area of aviation, that are layered. So the masks are really important. We could have a healthcare corps with millions unemployed right now. We could put together a healthcare corps that's checking people at the front of the airport, having them do a self-assessment of their health conditions, checking their masks, making sure that they know how to wear it properly. We see all kinds of people with masks not wearing it over their nose or just wearing it under their chins, not understanding how to use it, so they could be doing that as well. And we need to have it federally mandated, because right now what's happening is that on the front lines, flight attendants are having to enforce this. And we're doing that without the backing of the federal government. And in fact, the federal government has led people to believe that this is a political issue rather than a public health issue. So we're dealing with conflicts there, just in enforcing this policy that keeps everyone safe.
Yeah, I must say that whole mask on the chin thing, that drives me nuts. I'm like, what's the point there? What is the statement that you're making there? Okay, so passengers essentially, they are kind of flying at their own risk, right? I mean, they're going into this, knowing that it could be crowded. There are going to be no empty seats. I can wear my mask, etc. But then what is it you're most concerned about, for flight attendants, for people who are working in this industry and are facing a number of risks that are inherent with the job, and now top that with coronavirus?
Well, look, we actually have to have some distancing on the plane. So if our workspace is within 6 feet of passenger seats, those seats should be blocked out. We also need to make sure that the mask policies are enforced. We need to have the proper PPE for flight attendants to wear, because we're aviation's first responders. Because of supply chain issues, and our healthcare professionals on the front line don't even have full access to N95 masks, we don't have access to those either, but we should have those as well. And what we're also concerned about here is that the safety directly relates to our financial security. So everyone's talking about air travel is picking up. Well, let's face it, we have all kinds of airplanes that are on the ground right now. We're just barely climbing back to almost 20%
there are really fewer planes
in the
right. There are fewer planes in the air, and it's, yes, these planes are packed because you still have a demand of people who want to travel, but then with fewer airplanes. So then what about, the European Union now entertaining, or I guess it just may happen on Tuesday, ready to ban U.S. travelers from visiting those member nations? Well, that would mean those of you who are working in the industry are part of, the populace of people who would not be able to travel to Europe. How is that going to impact you?
This is devastating. This is devastating for our workplace. This is devastating in the long-term effects of America. This is America's brand here. We have always been on the leading edge of governance in aviation, with safety, with honesty, and inputting regulations that are really set the standard for aviation around the world. So this is a devastating blow, not only for our reputation and our long-term interaction with the rest of the world, it's cutting us off from the rest of the world, but it's directly affecting the people that I represent, all of my flying partners who count on this confidence in U.S. aviation in order to support our jobs. And so we're looking at massive furloughs in October if we don't have a continuation of federal funding for payroll support for the aviation workers. And all of this is related to our financial security and our safety at work.
Wow, I'm seeing no bright light here, Sara. This is really depressing.
Well, I think we can keep asking for our government to step up and take some responsible steps here so that we're not an embarrassment around the world and so that we're not all left with a long-term economic devastation here. And that's really what we're calling for, is that the threat is the virus. Let's deal with the virus, let's limit the risk, and then we're all going to do better economically as well.
All right, Sara Nelson, thank you so much. Appreciate it. Be well.
Thank you.